Knick of Time show. Go check out that show. It's a great show.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick of Time show, here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about the Knicks win. That's right, the Knicks just beat the Sacramento Kings, winning three games in a row. And we beat them 103-87. OG Anunoby gave you 15 points, 2 steals. Karl Anthony Towns had 17 points and 11 rebounds and 4 assists. Mikal Bridges had 18 points with 5 assists. Mitch had 7 points with 13 rebounds, and damn near half of those, being offensive. And Jalen Brunson, Captain Clutch himself, had 28 points and 4 assists. The Knicks held the Kings to only 15 points in the fourth quarter, while they only shot 5 from 30 from 3, and they shut it down. They won 3 in a row. Now the Knicks are are we like in third place now? I believe we might be in third place, or at least tied in third place in the East. I'm gonna double check that. But also, you know what? We got a game tomorrow for Toronto. It's a big game because they're right on us. I think it might be tied with Toronto. I'm gonna double check that. But it's a big game, and it seems like we're getting back on track. It wasn't a perfect game. We had a lot of turnovers. I think it was 23, according to NBA.com. But we got the win. So let's talk about it. All right. Before we talk about it, I'm going to introduce you to my peoples. First and foremost, it's the man, the myth, the legend, and the guy of the stats and the facts.
Ryan G's in the building. Before this game, I said on this podcast that for this game tonight, the Knicks better win by 10 plus points and put belt to ass on the Kings. And that's exactly what they did tonight. So because of that, I am happy.
Absolutely. And of course, you already know it is the Latin Assassin ESPN contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, our guy Lee Escobedo. Is good, Lee?
What's up, homies? Good to see y'all. Short term, happy that we're on any kind of win streak. Long term, none of my fears or concerns have been resolved. Still have a lot of question marks about this team as currently constructed, but I was glad that we should be a team that we should beat.
Yeah, I'm glad to be the team we should have beat. The defense has cleared up. Here's the thing. Last time the coach talked about the defensive game plan not being executed when it came to the Kings. And the last time he played the Kings, he said, this is the worst that we ever executed defensive game plan that we ever had this season. Today, when I watched the game plan, for the most part, I would say this is probably how it should have been, because before I feel like we were closing out hard on 3-point shooters. It's a lot of guys who couldn't shoot. Today, we closed out on the people we should have for the most part from the 3-point line, and that's why, they shot 5 of 30 from the 3-point line. You can see Precious Achiuwa dunking on people, because we're not hard closing out on Precious Achiuwa. We're not hard closing out on Russell Westbrook. We're letting those guys shoot, and we're trying to contain DeMar DeRozan, which is kind of hard to do. And we didn't really contain DeMar DeRozan, but what we did do, we got stops at the end of the fourth quarter when we needed to, and that's how we pretty much won the game. So I want to get your thoughts, gentlemen, on the game so far, and just the things that stood out to you. You can start off with you, Ryan G.
Wait, you said me or Lee?
You, Ryan G.
Oh. It was a well-played game overall. There were times in the game where the Knicks were definitely messing up with the turnovers, more specifically. But there were some good things I did see in this game. For example, the ball movement I thought was pretty good at parts of the game, especially in the fourth quarter. With some of the baskets the Knicks made, some of the possessions, there was good ball movement. Defensively was pretty good as well. I felt that the Knicks navigated under screens for players that they knew, were going to be threats from the 3-point range. Like, for example, Westbrook. I remember the previous game, they were going over the screen trying to guard Westbrook, but this game, they were going under the screen to prevent him from driving to the basket and force him to shoot jumpers, which is not his forte.
Test.
And that went for the whole team as well. The Knicks forced them to shoot jumpers, and the Kings are not a good 3-point shooting team. You look at their lineup. Westbrook not a good 3-point shooter. DeRozan works more in the mid range. They're the guys they had in their starting lineup are guys that want to get to the basket and want to get easy buckets. And the Knicks prevented them from doing that. Knicks were like, you know what? You're a bad shooting team, so we're going to force you to shoot the 3, and that's what they did, and they couldn't capitalize off that. I do think that the Knicks need to utilize Mitch more as a lob threat, because there were times in the second half where the Kings were doubling Brunson off of Mitch, and I felt like there were times where the Knicks could have found Mitch open for a lob, but they weren't able to find him. And I feel like teams going forward will implement that kind of strategy at times where they're going to double off of Mitch, knowing that he's not a lob threat, and give Brunson some problems, being double teams. So I think the Knicks need to learn how to use Mitch more as a lob threat to eliminate that. Also, I feel like with McBride,
Test.
Still echoing.
when he was the lead point guard, and I mean, we all say it, but I think he does definitely need to get better at the point guard role, because he still struggles in that role, and you can tell that his handle isn't all the way there, that he's hesitant, in that point guard role. He doesn't really know what to do at times.
You're talking about Deuce?
Yeah, and he's just dribbling the ball and just trying to he's not driving to the basket. He's not really setting people up. He's just there handling the ball, and I think that made the offense a bit stagnant towards the end of the third quarter, early in the fourth, which kind of helped the Kings to stay close. But besides that, I felt like it was overall well played game. There were errors, a lot of errors that need to be fixed, especially going against better teams. But overall, they got the win towards the end of the fourth quarter. They pulled away. But one thing I will be looking at in the future is the fourth quarter minutes, specifically for Cat, because again, another game where Mike Brown decides to go with Mitch at the end of the game defensively and sits Cat on the bench, and it worked for the Knicks because that's when the Knicks started to pull away towards the end of the game, and Mitch Robinson had plus 25 for the whole game. And I think if this continues to be the trend, I think that's going to more and more show us that Cat will probably be out the door in this upcoming summer if Mike Brown continues to sit him on the bench and decides to go with Mitch for defensive purposes.
Testing.
Ooh, still bad.
That is, I don't know what to do.
I'll go up next while you figure it out. I have not seen championship basketball. We're now 46, 48 games into the season, and I've seen championship basketball maybe 7 or 8 games. Around the Christmas mark is when we look the best, and I really thought we looked like a championship contender. But there's so many issues and long-standing errors that transcend both the Mike Brown era and the Tom Thibodeau era, things that we just haven't been able to clean up or fix no matter who the head coach is or who the lead defensive coordinator is. These problems persist. And one of those is the Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson cannot share the court and be a championship level defense. It's problematic. I think Karl-Anthony Towns not only needs to go, but I've changed my stance. I think we need to do everything. I think we need to do everything we can do to get Giannis here by the deadline and send out Karl-Anthony Towns in that deal, so we can at least try to win a chip this year. Because I think if we keep this year with Cat, we're essentially punting. Because the fact that he can't close games, and he's not only your highest paid player, but he's a player that you trade your second best player for, in Julius Randle, and you're kind of not the heart of a team, but the grit of a team. And Dante DiVincenzo, and Karl Anthony Towns, it's not a good look. It doesn't look good for the team. It doesn't look good for him. It doesn't look good for Leon Rose or Mike Brown. It's problematic all around. And the defense it's objectively better when he is on the bench. Oddly enough, I tweeted this, and this caused a lot of controversy, that the Knicks are at their best offensively when the offense is run through Karl Anthony Towns. And I've gotten more agreeing than disagreeing, but the disagreeing been very sharp on Twitter thus far. If you follow me on Twitter, feel free to engage with the post, and I'll probably respond as long as it's either funny or in good faith. Otherwise, I'm gonna drop a meme. But I feel like what I meant by that was misconstrued. The wheel offense is at its best when Karl Anthony Towns is a hub and Brunson is off ball. So when it's at its best, it doesn't mean we can't score other ways. That doesn't mean that Towns can have a bad game and we still win, or Towns can have a bad game and Brunson can have a great game and we still win. But we're at our best, peak maximum efficiency when the ball is moving through Towns and Towns is making decisions. It's a stationary hub at the elbow and Brunson is off ball. That's when I think we are at our most unstoppable offensively, because it also probably means we're going to be 5 out. And Towns loves also engaging in some handoff pistol action on that elbow where he then relocates to a three-point line and becomes a three-point shooter. That's when we look the most amazing, but we haven't really seen that since Christmas. So if he's already going to be this level of a liability on defense, and now we're not getting the best out of him on offense, and he's eating up the most of our cap, it's absolutely time to move on.
Can you hear me?
Ooh, better.
Yeah, way better.
Crispy.
Okay. I don't know what.
My man.
I don't know what happened, but
got the NPR voice back.
All right, cool. All right. I didn't honestly, I didn't hear half of what y'all said because I was over here trying to get this thing together. The tail end, I heard you talk about we didn't have a championship offense with Karl Anthony Towns. That's the gist of it, and I'm not exactly sure what Ryan said, but I guess I can kind of feed off of the last thing that Lee said today. Well, today was long term. What I will say is long term when it comes to the offense, I'm not necessarily concerned. I mean, we're still a top 3 offense in the league, and sometimes you have nights where it's a little bit weird. What I will say though is I am concerned about Karl Anthony Towns' production level, particularly at the rim and in the post. I almost feel like I think we can still get into a little bit of a rhythm and get him going from the 3-point line sometimes on a swing pass type of deal on a 5-out system. But what's concerning to me is when he gets to the rim, he kind of is flopping it up or floating it up, and he's not really, taking advantage of mismatches. Like he had Russell Westbrook on him today, and he wasn't really able to do anything with Russell Westbrook in the post. So like I feel like that type of stuff is more concerning than the offense in general. Like that in general, it's like because of the motion offense and the way things have been running, I still feel like we have other ways to score. We just didn't have our other guys didn't really shoot as well as they usually did. Like Deuce McBride, he's one of our best 3-point shooters on the team. He kind of had an off night shooting. Shaman had an off night shooting. But the defense kind of pulled through for us today. Even like the way that and really I feel like this could have been one of those games we would have scored like 120 points or 130 points if we actually didn't turn the ball over after we stole the ball from them. Because like a lot of our turnovers is like we played really good defense. We're running. We're trying to do the right thing by keeping the pace up. And because we're trying to do the right thing by keeping the pace up, we're rushing our passes by like jumping in the air and trying to pass to other people. So like long term, I'm not concerned really about the offense as a team, more so about Karl Anthony Towns when it comes to posting certain players. I think we have enough offensive talent to figure that out. The defense, though, I just want that to be consistent. And it's been okay. It's the first 2 games I really liked. This game, the way it started, I was like, I didn't like how the Kings scored like the first 7 points without resistance with the pick and roll defense being shaky. But like I feel like we picked it up as the game went along, and I think that's at least we picked it up as the game go along and got the win. We need to get some momentum going for our game tomorrow.
Yeah, you kind of commented on what I was talking about on the offensive end. We agreed on the issues on defense. My overarching statement was I don't believe in this team as a championship contender as long as Brunson and Cat are starters at the 1-5. And it's the combination of just how ass we are defensively. And it's unavoidable. There's no coach can fix this. There's no steam fix for this because this is who these two guys are at the two most important defensive positions on the court. But when Cat is on, conversely, giving you mediocre offense, it makes him a piece you have to move immediately, in my opinion, because now you're paying him $54 million to be horrendous on defense and at best average on offense. That to me is a huge problem. Because if you think about every team that's won chip last 5-6 years, their number 2 guy has had moments where they were unbelievable and sometimes the best player offensively for their championship run. Jamal Murray or Anthony Davis or Jason Tatum or Klay Thompson, all these guys. Jaylen Brown. Well, Jaylen Brown was a finals MVP, so that's why I counted Tatum. But everyone had incredible moments where they just went off. Chris Middleton, where they went off in the playoffs. I don't believe that Karl-Anthony Towns can do that for us as a number 2 option.
We've seen it last year, so we'll see what happens. And even to be honest, like defensively, the last 3 games we held. Okay, it's the Nets. Fine, we had a franchise record defensive game versus the Nets, but it's the Nets. The 76ers, though, is a pretty good team that we held. We did great for defensively. So, like, I'm not hitting the panic button on the defense right now while we're still trying to get some traction going. You know what I'm saying? We saw some championship defense to start the season when everybody was like, "Oh, championship, we got it in the bag, the cup, blah, blah, blah." We saw all that. We're in a skid, and all the confidence is down, and people are deflated. But we're building back up again. It's half the way through the season. I want to see where this goes. I want to see where this goes. And right now, we hold 3 teams to under 100 points. They're averaging 85 points or 86 points a game on the defensive end for the last 3 games. That's upward mobility. I'm gonna ride that momentum to the next game and see what happens.
I'll have to disagree. I am hitting the panic button. I think this is the best possible defense we can play, is what we are doing right now because of the rotation is pure defense. You got to have Brunson in the rotation. You got to have Cat. But he's eliminated all the weaknesses defensively on the bench. Yabru's not playing big minutes anymore. Kolek is out. Clarkson's out. So now you have Deuce and Shamet and Mitch. Those are 3 of your best defenders paired with the solid guys in the starting 5, Bridges, OG, and Hart. And I think we're still not a championship defensive team. We still have issues. So I don't know how it gets better. I don't think there's anyone out there on the trade market that's not a Giannis move that makes us significantly better on the defensive end. And I don't think this team is capable of having a top 10 defense or a championship level defense as the season goes on.
Shout out to B who posted this earlier. We were top 4 defense with Mitch is in the game for the last few games. So it's like if we have Mitch here and the coach pushes the right buttons, I'm not giving up on his team defensively. Like we scratched top 10 before the skid went on. We had a crazy skid now. I think it's too early. I feel like it's too early to say it's a wrap with 39 games left and a playoff series. I think it's way too early.
But we have last season too. It's the same starting 5 as it was last season, and Karl-Anthony Towns is still the same player. He is playing the 4 more this year than he was last season, when he was primarily at the 5. But the defense hasn't really improved on his end. Brunson has moments where he's played better defense at the point guard position, but even he is a massive liability. So I think it's more than just at the sample size. I don't like the sample size of a couple of games where we look good with Mitch in certain minutes. I don't think that's really impactful. I think the last season, this first half of the season is enough of a sample size for me to be all out on us defensively. Not offensively, but out defensively.
I'm going to make my decision. At the end of the season, we'll see where we are defensively, and then we can revisit this conversation.
Yeah, and I think I'm just gonna throw in my 2 cents. I'm gonna reserve my judgment as well, because with the way the team is defending at the moment, Mike Brown showing his rotation 8 guys. So Mike Brown is playing the guys that he think is going to defend the way he wants the team to defend. And I think that is going to play a major role in how the team defends moving forward. And although, yeah, I can't see Cat being moved by the trade deadline. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting Cat to be here after the trade deadline, especially with Giannis being hurt. I don't think any team is going to really make a move for Giannis while he's hurt. But I think that with the way the team defends at the moment, with the 8 guys that Mike Brown has, and the way he is switching around the rotation a bit, where he knows Cat's a defensive liability, so he's going Mitch late in games, and that team that he has out there late in games, I think he had Mitch Deuces out there late, which is usually I think he replaced Josh Hart. Josh Hart wasn't in that final 5, was he?
No, he wasn't. The farm, I tell you right
That's
now.
what I'm saying. Deuces in there for Hart.
Right.
So I feel like if Mike Brown, like you said, touches the right buttons and gets the right rotation out there to defend, I think this team can still go far, especially seeing how this team stepped up last season when they got to the playoffs. I think the team has that mentality to do so when the time is right. But at the same time, I do think that if I see more games where Mike Brown is choosing to put Cal on the bench and Mitch, closing out games, that's just going to tell me more and more that once the summer comes, Cat's not going to be here past this season.
Extremely possible, but let's talk about more about the game and the lineup though. The lineup that you're talking about, Ryan, is 6 minutes and 51 seconds left. Brunson, OG, McBride, McBride, Bridges, and Mitch closed the game out, and that's when we really started to pull away, because before that happened, we were only up 2 points, and essentially you have Brunson and 4 defenders out there. And we had Mikal Bridges who did a valiant job. Now, I'm not listen, DeMar DeRozan is DeMar DeRozan, right? He's gonna get his, but I do feel like he fought. We kept getting hit by that stack pick and roll all night long to get him open. Shout out to Lee, who taught me the stack pick and roll. That's when you have two defenders pick screening off a guy, and the guy have to fight through 2 picks and then the offensive players open. We kept getting killed with that all night, but I feel like fourth quarter Bridges fought through that, and there was a key play of the game where he fought through that, poked the ball away. The DeRozan had to go into the backcourt to retrieve the ball and shoot a desperation 3. Try to draw a foul on McCall and airballed it, and we got the ball and kept it moving. I think big defensive plays like that really helped blow the game open. And on top of that, we had Jalen Brunson, who is our captain, who scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. So it's like when the defense is like that and you have a guy who can close, I feel like you can always win a game. And I think that's what's happening. And then also too, OG Anunoby, who had 7 turnovers the entire game, did really well to end the game. And once he stopped hesitating, because I do feel like OG's problem today why he got the 7 turnovers was because he wasn't making decisive movements. He was head faking. He didn't know if he wanted to head fake. He wanted to drive, and he got confused between the two. When he got settled in and shot the 3 when he saw the 3-point shot open, or drove hard when he saw the lane open, that's when he started to make his mark. And I felt like he closed out pretty well as well. And Mikal Bridges had a couple of buckets in the fourth quarter. Overall, I felt like that defensive unit was good, and offensively it held up as well. And shout out to Mike Brown for finding that unit and closing the game out.
Yeah, definitely. That unit was impressive to close out the game. They definitely stepped up defensively, and yeah, everybody pretty much did their job. It'll be interesting to see how Mike Brown moves forward with his lineups late in the fourth quarter, because I think he's making it pretty clear, what he wants to see to close out games. Like, he wants a defensive unit that's going to be able to shut down the opposing team, and that's what this unit did. So, going forward, it'll be interesting to see if Deuce is going to remain in that final lineup, and if Mitch is going to be there as well.
Right. So it's like there's a few lineups that I liked. There's one lineup that I've liked so far that didn't work today, and I'm starting to realize there's limitations. I usually like the Brunson, Shamet, Deuce lineup, but today DeRozan kind of went off on that lineup, I think, in the second quarter, And I think when we have scoring guards who can score in the post, I feel like that's when that lineup doesn't work as well. So unless you're committing to having that OG player play that post player, which kind of messes us up because then you're gonna have a guard guarding a power forward, so it's just a little bit too much. But certain matchups, I feel like that line will work well for a lot of benches, but teams like maybe Detroit or teams for like the Roses or team like Sacramento Kings or teams who have guards who post up. And luckily, there's not a lot of guards who post up in the league, but teams who have guards who post up might be able to score on that unit. And that's when we probably have to go more double big, which is what I kind of liked. Again, I like the double big lineup. I like the synergy between Cat and Mitchell Robinson, and Cat kind of looking for Mitch, and then even just the way that Mitch is able to control the boards when both of those guys are in the game. I think when we went to the double big lineup today, we start to put like a little bit of a stamp on the game. So those are the kind of line. Those three lineups today, I feel like were pretty effective. The one we closed with, the double big lineup, not so much my favorite lineup that I've seen so far, but those other two lineups I thought were pretty good.
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan is such an old school style of player that he might just kind of be like a strange shock to guys that are guarding him, that he is taking over more from the mid range than he is at the rim or from a 3-point line. So
Yeah,
he's kind of an archetype that's been phased out of the NBA. I mean, even Bridges takes a lot of threes too. So there's similarities in their game, but the Roses are such a master of the mid range and master of the post up. And yeah, we're a small team. It's going to be to our disadvantage there when you have one of the most efficient and most lethal mid range scorers in NBA history. So when I saw that he was the one going off, when he wasn't hitting his threes, I was like, we're going to win this game. Even if we're not perfect, we're sloppy on offense with the turnovers, we're okay on defense, we're still going to win because they're most dangerous when Sabonis is really their most active offensive player. That wins DeMar DeRozan because he gets everybody involved. DeRozan ices everybody out because he's on the ball for 5-6 seconds before he scores.
Absolutely, which is why Mitch was so important today too, because I felt like when Mitch was in the game and he was on Sabonis, I feel like because Sabonis was hurting us on the boards a little bit, and Sabonis was hurting us on the post ups a little bit. Then Mitch goes in the game, he tries to post Mitch up, and he throws up an air ball. And Mitch didn't even flinch. It's just the fear. It's just the fear of Mitch just putting his hand up and being able to block that shot without junction just changed his whole trajectory. And not only that, I mentioned this in the last game, but Mitch's steal rate is probably one of the most underrated things on his team. Like he just puts his hand out and gets a steal. He got how many did he get?
I thought about you saying that when he did that this game. I was like, oh, that's what JL was just talking about, playing the passing lanes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Passing lane on real deep in the post too, which you don't see very often. That just shows how unique Mitch is in the way that he impacts defense.
Exactly. 2 steals for Mitch today. Plus 25. If you want to know what type of impact he had tonight, he had the highest plus minus of the game, plus 25 with the 2 steals and no blocks, but it's just the fear of God in you not to try to shoot the ball over him. At 6 offensive rebounds, and I feel like a lot of that might have happened during that double big lineup. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, Mitch had a hell of a game today. And interestingly enough, I'm like, it's funny because I've been watching the putback, and Ian kind of was talking. I feel like I hear Ian's tone like soften from week to week when it comes to Mitch because he's playing so well. And when I say soften, not that Mitch was in some danger of being traded or being moved, but like his tone sounds like the Knicks are more interested in wanting him. Like not sure how it's going to happen or what, but it just seems like his impact is like being felt. Is like, yeah, we can't move this guy.
You know, sometimes JL, listen, you and I have like ESP where we're kind of seeing the same things during the game, and we end up realizing that once we get on the pod or when we're texting each other in the group chat. I felt like there were moments tonight where I tweeted, I was like, is Mitchell Robinson's offensive awareness increasing a little bit? Because he seemed to have more awareness outside of just like, okay, maybe they'll throw me the lob depending on who has the ball right now. There's only like 1 or 2 guys that will, but he's more like going after it and putting himself in a running position, a running start to be like the putback dunker on missed shots. And he's putting himself in positions to catch with Cat in the 2-man game in the post, which if he does that, the number, if he can give you 4 to 6 points off of that type of action, then really it's absolutely worth whatever extension is, even if he's playing under 20 minutes a game, because that is like massive impact. Now he is no longer a minus on offense outside of offensive rebounders. Now you can use him as a lob threat, even if he doesn't hit or you not give it to him. That threat keeps the defense honest, and it keeps someone having single coverage as they drive to the hoop. So I was like, damn, Mitch, maybe he's getting more continuity playing with Cat in those shared minutes.
Yeah.
More continuity playing with OG and Bridges. I don't know what it is. He just seemed a little bit more aware and on his game tonight and how he was positioning himself as an offensive force around the rim.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like he was diving to the basket a lot, and the teams are passing to him now. Like, we're passing him the damn ball. So it's like I have a reason to move. I have a reason to dive, and then even if I don't get it, I get the tip back, and I'm pretty sure the coach is kind of reinforcing that, because the coach preaches how he wants you to move in the half court and in the full court, and he wants you to cut hard every single time. So he's probably preaching that and getting to those open spots, and it's kind of he's reaping the benefits a little bit.
I wonder too if his conditioning is improving. So they're like, all right, you're finally at a place where we can initiate phase 2 of how you're used offensively on that side of the court. Here's some things we're going to implement every single game where you can get some opportunities as a rim roller and a rim threat, either lobs or putbacks. Now that he's gotten his legs under him and he's gotten kind of his rapport and his energy after sitting out back-to-backs, now he's more in game mode. Maybe he plays tomorrow. And now they're saying, you know what, we're going to actually have you be a part of the offensive game plan moving forward.
I agree, man. Like, if you didn't know, there was news that came out that said that Mitch might play back-to-back for the first time this season. They're gonna have to check with the doctors. Apparently, this is a long-term plan, and this is a goal for the Knicks and the staff. So hopefully this comes to fruition, and we're able to see Mitch play a back-to-back, because the Raptors are a pretty important team. We're kind of deadlocked in with them right now in the standings, so it'll behoove us to actually do that.
Can I just say, hold on, the super chats be coming in. And I also want to say, first of all, we love that you're doing it. It means a lot to us, because this means that, like, we don't all have to chip in to help pay bills. That, like, JL is able to keep that money. Then we use this money not just pay bills, but what's extra to help people level up. You see Ryan leveling up. I've leveled up. We're about to get B and Ebony leveled up, thanks to Phil's advice. But also, I love how active a chat is too, man. You guys there's been like a month stretch. You guys are conversing with each other, conversing with us, making comments. I love seeing the increased dialogue with Kim Doc. Like, there's everyone in the chat. Nick Yak has been super steady. We appreciate that. And keep it going, man. I would love to bring comments up and talk about them. I love how active you guys are being, and even ramp it up even more.
Absolutely. And Ryan G, I know me and Lee been going back and forth. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Nothing really. I mean, y'all pretty much said what needed to be said about Mitch. Always felt like his movement was pretty good. I just feel like the team doesn't look for him as often as they should around the basket, because I already mentioned earlier in the podcast that I did feel like when the Kings were doubling off of Mitch, there were opportunities to find him under the basket, but the Knicks weren't passing the ball. So, Mitch does put himself in good positions on the offensive side of the ball. Screens have always been solid. So I do think he has offensive awareness. It's just a matter of the Knicks finding him more often to score baskets, because at the moment it seems like the only time he really scores is off of putbacks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Larry Cohen from Twitter. That's my guy, man. Donating $10 to Super Chat. Bro, let's drop your ideas, drop some criticism, drop a roast, drop a joke. Like, hey, man, we appreciate the money, but we also want to hear what you have to say. I love the donation. We really appreciate that, man. You've been a homie on Twitter. And now you're bringing that love here to the KOT channel behind the scenes. We really appreciate it. I saw we had another super chat too.
Sure, good.
You mind if I read them off?
Go ahead.
Appreciate it. Gamer Channel, the OG. Another mother, that's a good friend to all of us here on the KOT channel. He donates $20. He says, I'm looking at OG. 7 turnovers are unacceptable. He played better as the game went on, but we need him to play like an all-star going forward. I'm giving $20 each game. OG scores 20-plus points, has 2+ steals, and shoots 50% from the field. Brother, we appreciate that, man. Hopefully OG makes it rain.
Okay, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
At least I know Game and Chat will be saving his money.
Now, Last year, Gamer Channel gave was it $10 or $20 every time Precious Achua scored a three. I think.
Yep.
I think he like donated like $80. I'm joking. But like, yeah, he's been very generous. He's donated a lot of money to the KOT show and the cause. So I definitely appreciate Gamer Channel for just kind of rocking with us again this season.
And he's right. OG Anunoby and Deuce McBride were absolute ass cheats tonight. Every player is going to have those games. We've been heavy on Brunson. We've been heavy on Mike Brown. No one escapes it, right? There's no golden calves here. Like, especially when you're not Brunson or Cat, you're going to be criticized too, no matter what role you have on the team. OG Anunoby, Deuce McBride, the shooting numbers, you got to get some consistency, at least from certain spots on the three-point line. If anything, you got to be able to hit 2 or 3 threes, whether it's from the corners or the top of the tee, to keep the spacing going, the motion flowing.
Yeah, and you know what too? Like, I don't necessarily get too upset over bad shooting nights because like it happens as a shooter. Sometimes you have bad shooting stretches, bad shooting nights. It's more the turnovers. It's more like the 7 turnovers were really excessive. And could have lost us the game, but he got it together, hit some big shots in the fourth quarter. And that's all that really matters. So,
Yeah, I think I'm also look at the defensive effort because some players, when they're not doing good offensively, the defense tends to tail off. But with Deuce and OG, they were pretty solid defensively despite, the bad shooting night. So I didn't really have an issue with OG. The 7 turnovers definitely, but besides that, I didn't really have a whole lot of issues with either player.
I think that's why I don't really kill him that much on the program. The only time I really criticize Deuce is not necessarily on shooting nights. I feel like when he gets into his over dribble mode, the over dribble to turnover mode, that's when I kind of get like, all right, Deuce, get it together. that's when I feel like shooting nights. It's frustrating, of course. These shooting nights, I don't get too upset over that all the time because I know those guys are good shooters. But I get for people who just watching who would peas me off more than anything, if you don't already know, is defensive effort. I'll blow my top over defensive effort faster than I'll blow my top over like an 0 for 6 night from 3. Like shout out to Kim, who like one of our first debates, she was like, Brunson was horrible. Why were you going after Cat so hard? And I was just like, I know Brunson was horrible. Like I know he shot us out the game, but my hierarchy for pet peeves are defense first of everything, and then shooting is like maybe like third when it comes like missing shots, like bad shots. That's higher than missing shots, in my eyes. But that's how I grade things at my pet peeve level for those who are watching. All right. Do anything else you want to mention about this game? I feel like Mikal had a good start and then kind of tail off, but I feel like Cat had some moments offensively in the third, but wasn't consistent. But I don't really feel like there's anything else to really dive into instead of that we haven't talked about yet.
I think the game plan was solid, right? Like, don't let a nobody get hot.
Right.
Don't let Dennis Schroeder be able to make a run in the fourth because he's probably their most clutch player on the roster. I'm a huge fan of Dennis Schroeder. I love his dog mentality. Always wanted him on the Knicks as a backup. And don't let Sabonis be a playmaker, right? Kind of limit Sabonis' effectiveness and get the ball out of his hands and force the ball in the hands of guys who are more likely to just to be kind of a dribble machine.
Right.
Like DeMar DeRozan, Keon Ellis, so on and so forth. So I think that the game plan was solid. I thought the balancing Sabonis' minutes with Mitch was pretty good too. He was making sure that Mitch was out there to stay on Sabonis. It's very easy for Cat to be out of position or to be out of the defensive rotation and allow Sabonis to start get cooking, whether it's a facilitator or a scorer. So the game plan for Mike Brown was solid offensively. I think that it's coming into form. I think we need a couple of games, not just teams that are hot, right? Like obviously Brooklyn and Sacramento are terrible. Philly was on a streak. We're about to play Toronto, maybe the hot Toronto and Charlotte, the two hot teams in the NBA. That's going to be a good test. But I'm more worried about the OKCs, the San Antonios, and Denvers. Even if they're in a slump, they are still a championship caliber team or a champion, a team that's won a chip. I'm more worried how do we play against them? Because even an off night, by OKC or San Antonio is better than an on night by Charlotte or Miami, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Listen, we lost to San Antonio, not playing our best. We lost by, I feel like we lost by 2. Then we beat them in the cup. So it's like I feel like when we're on, and we're right there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really curious to see how we match up with these other teams. The most team I'm curious to see how we match up against is the Detroit Pistons because of how we lost the last game. So I want to see how we show up. I want to see the game plan. I want to see the fight. I want to see how we stand up to physicality with those teams. So I'm definitely curious to see that. I'm definitely curious to see how we match up against OKC, just because that's been the talk of Knicks, Twitter, and us all year. We haven't got to see them yet. But those are like probably the 2 teams I'm most curious to see how we match up against. Or 3 teams, rather. All right. All right. Anything else before we talk about some Jrue Holiday stuff?
No, I'm good. Let's get into Jrue Holiday.
Let's get into Big Jrue. All right, yo. So shout out to the KOT family, man. If you were here last night, we had a show that talked about the midseason review. And at the end of the show, we talked about the possibility of Giannis coming here. I probably should clip that up and post that at some point so y'all can see that conversation. And then the show ended. And as soon as the show ended, we go on Twitter. And guess what we see? Mark Stein had some news for us. All right. I knew I had this open. Now why isn't that open? Where are you? Hold on. Do I have you? I'm sorry, guys. I thought I had the news open to read off. I can go off the top of my brain. All right. Let's go off the top of my brain because I don't have it open. I thought I did. So Mark Stein reported yesterday that the Knicks have shown interest in Jrue Holiday. And he thought it was interesting because, Jrue Holiday is a 35-year-old champion, right? But he's done well for himself. He's a two-way player. He can actually score, shoot threes, play makes. One of those guys who you say is perfect next to Brunson on that list. But he's also 35 years old. He's been very injury prone. But the thing that was most interesting that Mark Stein mentioned was that Jrue Holiday is close to Giannis Antetokounmpo. And so the Knicks aren't really just interested in getting him here just because he's a great player, but they're trying to lure him into the Knick fold, into MSG, to attract Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Knicks. Now, if you guys have followed the Knicks for seasons and seasons, the Knicks have a go-to move, right? Just like Hakeem Olajuwon has a go-to move, which is the hook shot. The Knicks' go-to move is find somebody you love and give them a job. That has been their go-to move from the beginning of time. Why is Jalen Brunson here? I mean, New York is a great place, right? Yes, for sure. But it's hard to pass up an opportunity to play for your dad as a coach. All right? When the Knicks wanted to have Kevin Durant here, what did we do? We put DeAndre Jordan on the team.
And Royal Ivy.
Both confidants, both close people to Kevin Durant. So when I'm seeing this from Mark Stein, I'm like, oh, there goes that Knicks hook shot again. This is making me believe that the Knicks are absolutely trying to attract Giannis Antetokounmpo to the New York Knicks. Not saying that we need more help, but that seems like what the case is. And coincidentally, it seems like Portland Trailblazers really love Mikal Bridges. Some people are like, why would they love that? Do you remember Mikal Bridges burned them last year and hit a game winner and was dancing right in Portland? So that might have something to do with it. Not only that, reputation of being a defender and a corner 3-point shooter, and the guy that could be added to their team to make it a push for the playoffs. So, guys, I want to get your thoughts on the potential Jrue Holiday to the Knicks trade. Good idea, bad idea. How do you feel?
Okay, I'll go first. I'll say this. Jrue Holiday's on a 4-year, I think $135 million contract, so he's earning about 30-something mil per year. Last year's a player option. He's 35 years old. Jrue Holiday, great player, two-way player, can give you offense, can give you defense. My only concern is the later years, age 36, age 37. How is he going to look? That's my only concern with Jrue Holiday. So if I'm the Knicks, I understand great friends of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Jrue Holiday still has something left in the tank. He's shown that in Portland. He's not fully done yet. He's still got a little bit left in the tank. My thing is, I think if you go after Jrue Holiday, I think the Knicks need a plan B, meaning like, just in case Jrue Holiday breaks down in the later years, who do you have upcoming that can play that role next to Brunson in the starting lineup? The only way I go for Jrue Holiday is if it's for a cheap price, because I'm not gonna overpay for a player that's past his prime, and you don't know how he's gonna look in those later years. So it would have to be for a very cheap price for me to want to get Jrue Holiday. If I'm giving up a lot to get Jrue Holiday, then I'm gonna pass on that trade just for age alone.
Now, I'm pretty sure Lee might know more about this. I'll pass this to Lee, because also what I'm hearing from, shout out to Ian who talked a little about this before, were the picks involved, because the Milwaukee Bucks gave Portland their picks. So this whole thing might be a way to facilitate picks to the Milwaukee Bucks. What do you say, Lee?
Yeah, you're right about that. The Milwaukee Bucks sent picks for Damian Lillard in the trade 3 or 4 years ago. So I think they own picks and they own swaps, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And as you saw this past summer, Brooklyn got their picks back, so but their tanking actually meant something. There was a weird trade. There was no players involved. It was just picks between, I think, Houston and Brooklyn, where Houston got the Suns pick and Brooklyn got their picks back, so that they could tank and actually earn their draft capital, whoever they pick. That's something that I think that Milwaukee will look to do. That's actually more important, in my opinion, than them getting other teams' picks, because you're getting picks that actually they're able to control the future and outcome of. So that's like top premium. If you can get that back to them, you automatically are outbidding everybody else in terms of draft capital. And the Knicks, I think, can do that with a move for Jrue Holiday. And I am 100% for his trade. I see the chat saying hard pass, not at any price. Holiday is a bad idea. I'd rather have Decent Bride. Coach CR, no. Knit Nation, too high a risk at his age. I'm going to say hell yes, with a caveat. Only if it means we're getting Giannis too. Doesn't have to be Giannis in the same deal, but if it comes out, 2 days later we got Giannis, a week later we got Giannis, absolutely pull the trigger on its own. And shout out to Fritz Alessandor, the mod god, Fifth Beatle, for having me on his show, The NBA Economy. I posted a random trade idea on Twitter. It blew up, so we went on the show to see, does this actually work? And he brought out the financials, and we came to an understanding that it can work financially. You have to do some slight tweaking on the peripherals, but it can work. And I'm for it, but only if it means Giannis is coming too, and then Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns, two guys who I think should be traded, are traded, and you replace them with Giannis and Jrue Holiday. But on its own, Bridges is a superior player to Jrue Holiday right now. Career-wise, no question, Holiday. But right now, Bridges is a better player. More chemistry, better contract, even though it's going to raise here with the extension, still a better deal than Holiday. But if it also means Giannis, you're surrounded by elite defense all across the board, at every position, you have someone who can play a tertiary role, no longer a second option on anything, not even ball handling. He needs to be helping and supporting Brunson, but actually run the team when Brunson sits too.
It's rough because it's the 4 years. I think that's what it really is. It's the 4 years. So it's like it's 4 years, 35 million, and he's 35. Like, that can be dead cap for like 2 or 3 years.
Well, it's really thinking about it is 3 years. That last year he's expiring, so that becomes very lucrative to any team. It no longer becomes a net negative asset. It's actually a positive asset at that point once it's expiring.
Wait, what year? Okay, hold on a second. What
27, 28. That's
Yeah.
the final year of the contract.
Oh, 27, 28 is the final year of the contract? Oh, that changes things.
Yeah, and he's an expiring deal. That's actually beneficial to us.
That's interesting.
It fits the window.
That actually changes things because
But it has to be in unison with Giannis. Because if you're trading Bridges for Holiday, that's a step down, in my opinion.
yeah, like it's one of those things where that can't be the final move. If you're like serious about a championship,
100%.
you're like getting that, and then you're taking the picks because McCall is worth more at that point.
Yes.
So you're getting, I don't know how many picks for that. Maybe you're getting 3 picks or 4. I don't know for that because, and then you can flip him the next year for maybe another pick because it's an expiring deal. And then, but then what happens is you still have to have another wing defender somewhere and find another wing defender, or at least a wing point of attack guy. And that's when,
That's Jrue. What do you mean? Are you talking about after Jrue is washed?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm not really. I guess I'm not really depending on Jrue full time. I guess I don't buy it yet. Like he just got back from injury. I'm not super secure that he's just gonna be playing next year, and I'm not confident. I guess I'm not confident that he's not gonna be injured again, considering his career arc so far.
He would be, I think, best case scenario, he's a 4th option. I think he's a very solid 4th option. You could argue that that's what he was in Boston. Maybe he was a 4th. Maybe he was a 5th between him and Derek White. I think he might have averaged more points than Derek White if memory serves right. I can't recall off the top of my head. But maybe it was a tie, right? It would be a tie. I think the same thing would happen here. If you can retain Deuce and retain Shamet, then really it's kind of like defense by committee. But the entire committee plays above average defense. Even at his age right now at 35, he's still an above average defender. He can guard a point of attack. He can guard up. He can play with 3, just like Deuce. Yes, you're undersized, but he is a 2-time champion, clutch shot maker, and elite table setter. Even in the minutes that he's produced in Portland, he's still giving you 7 assists. Like the IQ, the toughness, all he's coaching the floor. He fixes. Adding him and Giannis to me fixes every single issue of this Knicks team, but the stretch 5. That's the one thing you have to go out and find. And to me, figure that out later. Get Giannis in the door, and I think Jrue Holiday is a great partner for him as a 4th option or potential bench piece where he's even more effective, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, I am not doubting his effectiveness and his toughness and his playmaking. Like Jrue Holiday, I wanted Jrue Holiday on the Knicks for years, but that was like years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like it was Jrue Holiday was definitely like those two-way players who can hit threes and set people up. It was like him, Malcolm Brogdon, all the players that I wanted like 4 years ago now seem to be coming to the Knicks. So it's like I don't doubt that. I'm just like, how? Okay, it's time to push. We having that championship push now. Is his legs gonna hold up? That's really what it is. Go ahead, Ryan. I know you want to say something.
No, all I'm saying is that I kind of agree with Jay's sentiment because I feel like, although yes, if bringing Giannis here means Jrue Holiday has to come too in that trade, okay, maybe I can stomach it a bit better. But I would still feel better if the Knicks had like a plan B where it's like, okay, in case Jrue Holiday falls off those final years of his contract, mainly next season, because I know the following season, he's going to be expiring contract. The Knicks can probably move him because, a team that's willing to, a team that's like trying to, give up cap space, so they can have space in the future to make moves. A team might be willing to take his contract that's it's expiring, and they're going to get that space for the following free agency. So I can see where the Knicks can offload his contract at the end of his contract. I'm just nervous about, is he going to still be at the top of his game?
Yeah.
going forward after this season, and that's my concern. So I would be more comfortable if the Knicks had a plan B, where it's like, okay, just in case Jrue Holiday dips off, we have this player in the wings that can take his spot next to Brunson in that starter lineup. So that's my only really concern. If this was Jrue Holiday 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh hell yes, bring him here. But it's just his age is just concerning to me at the moment.
Maybe even 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't understand the overcomplicating acquiring one of the greatest players in NBA history in Giannis just because it includes Jrue Holiday. But to me, that team is so much better than what we have right now. It answers every championship question across the board. In fact, you bring in a player better than Brunson in Giannis. He would instantly be the greatest Knick of all time. Giannis would, the moment that he puts on the jersey. He's the greatest Knick ever in terms of talent and accomplishments. And I think he would win a championship. Brunson's a number 2 option. The best number 2 option since who? Pippen? I mean, Kobe. It's unbelievable how awesome that would be. So to me, you do it and you figure it out later. I think that there's a short window right now, and we have to have the best roster we possibly can. I don't see Jrue Holiday as some net negative. He's still showing he can be productive on an ascending team in Portland. He's not buried on the bench. He's contributing, at times starting, mostly starting now that he's back healthy. So to me, I'm all for it. It just depends on what we're giving up, right? If we're giving up player-wise, Kolek and Yabu and Pacome and Bridges and Cat, and we're getting back to Giannis and Jrue, to me, that's like, hell yeah, you do that. If you were out a lineup of Brunson and Jrue and OG, Giannis, and then you find a stretch 5, bro, that's an unbelievable lineup right there.
I think his talent is never the concern. It's not about the talent. It's about the durability. Like, he just started playing again. He just started playing after missing 30 games, and it's like the new CBA is like, you're gonna have Giannis is gonna give Giannis is Giannis. He deserves all the money he has. You're gonna have 53 or 60 tied up in Giannis and 35 tied up in Jrue Holiday, and then we're gonna have Brunson who's gonna go up, and you have OG. If OG's still here, it's like we have to still build out the team. Mm-hmm. So it's not that he's not a great player. It's like he's a great player, but he's also 35, and he takes up like a decent amount of cap for a guy who maybe he has another year running him. I don't know. Maybe.
The problem is you're also facing those same questions right now. Mikal Bridges' contract's about to go up, and to my opinion, it's a bad contract at this point for the production that he's given us. You're also paying OG damn near $45 million. So now you're dealing with Karl-Anthony Towns. You get rid of Towns, you can re-sign Mitch and Deuce.
Yeah, but
you're having those financial implications and major issues already before Giannis.
Yeah, but they're like 30 and not as injury prone, and they have like years left. And like, it's not the talent level. You're talking about Mikal Bridges is going to be able to play 4 years from now.
Financially, we're in dire straits now. We'd be in dire straits then.
No, I'm talking about there's a difference between a guy who gets paid $35 million. He's giving you what, 17 points, freaking whatever, 38% from 3. His defense is okay, but versus we have a guy who can potentially be more, but he's going to miss half the season because he's 35.
But to counter that, his contract ends 27-28. Bridges goes past 2030. Bridges is going to be Jrue Holiday level by 2029. So you're going to have him even longer. To me, the Bridges contract's worse than the Jrue Holiday contract as of right now because of the extension. $25 million Mikal Bridges is a steal. Great deal. But the extension, to me, he's now a bad contract.
Okay.
I'd rather have Jrue Holiday's contract at that point.
Question. We're using Jrue Holiday to the lure of Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? He's an expiring deal. We're saying the best case scenario is we flip Jrue Holiday because he's an expiring deal for picks and da-da-da-da. But later, if this is Giannis Antetokounmpo's friend, are we going to be able to flip Jrue Holiday? That's another question because we're using Jrue Holiday to bring him and then we want to trade him.
The logic is we won the championship by then. The logic is that's 3 years down the line. And at some point in those 3 years, we won a chip. And now that kind of aging part of our core, we need to refresh. So maybe he would be out the door. Potentially even Mitch would be at the door at that point. We tried to get younger around Brunson and Giannis. But in all honesty, once we win that chip, I really don't give a damn what happens. The whole team would just like cease to exist, and I would be happy for the rest of my life. Right? I just want that one championship.
Yeah, if he's available, because you talking about contracts and stuff, but what's the best ability?
Availability.
There it is.
But again, this would not be the same responsibility that Jrue has had throughout his career. He would be fortified with depth, and he wouldn't be as needed offensively or defensively as he has on other teams because we would be so stacked on both ends of the ball.
Stacked? Okay, I stacked is. I have to see what else we do with the team. I think the stacked thing is the question. I think the stacked thing is the question because I know you're saying Mikal is going to cost 35 and Jrue's going to cost 35, but Mikal's going to cost 35, and even if he's mediocre, he's going to be a $35 million mediocre player. Versus Jrue Holiday may or may not even be there.
I think he would be there, and I think the output would be about equal if they're both the fourth option. Drew's giving you like 15 points right now and 7 assists. To me, that's like better than the output that I expect or what I'm getting from Mikal Bridges. It's the playmaking. Like that's what we need. We need someone who can run the offense when Brunson sits and we don't stall out. We would not stall out. I think we would excel in different ways when the ball would really move with Jrue Holiday passing the rock. I mean, this is just it's a hypothetical. I see people saying that I'm saying hyperbolic things. I think Giannis is better than any Knick that's ever played for the New York Knicks. Yeah, he would actually have to win. Okay. But is he the most talented player to ever put on the uniform if he came here? Yes, he would be, and he would still be in his prime. So we're not talking about a Tracy McGrady situation. We're talking about a top 5 player right now that would be wearing our jersey in the midst of his prime to win us a chip.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I think most preferably I'd want a player that has about a good 3-4 years left to go with the rest of the roster and their time trajectory as well. But I do get what Lee is saying, because if the Knicks do somehow clinch a championship within those 1 or 2 years that Jrue Holiday has left, then it'll be worth it. But I still see it as
it's a risk.
Yeah, I still see it as a risk, just from the standpoint of, Jrue hasn't been the healthiest as of late. And then also, yes, Giannis is a top 5 player, but also Giannis hasn't been the healthiest as of late as well. So you bring in 2 guys where they could potentially miss a lot of time. Giannis with the calf and Jrue Holiday being up there in age. So it definitely is a huge risk, because you could find yourself in a situation where you're playing a lot of games without Giannis and without Jrue, for example, and the Knicks have to try to get through those time periods, but. But it's high risk. But you know what they say: high risk, high reward. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I want to roll the dice 100%. But if the dice is rolled, I understand it.
It's a risk. Like this summer's gonna be crazy, man. I'm having flashbacks of the KD Kyrie summer, with how the buzz was going around when we was doing podcasts and stuff. Then, like. This is building up to be one of those KD Kyrie type summers for Knicks Nation, Knicks Twitter, the Knicks social media site. So this is gonna be interesting.
I've had to practice a lot of self-control, because every time I talk to anyone involved in a league, they're like, "Get ready. Have you bought your Giannis jersey?" And I'm like, "Holy hell!" Like basically, people are telling me this is absolutely going to happen by at least the summer. So I've been trying my best to talk about the team as they are now, and not expect or project that they're going to have Giannis within either a week or within a couple of months. But it's hard not to lick your lips at the idea, of Giannis being the best player on this team. Because I think we're a better team, even though there's a higher risk. I think there's a higher ceiling for that team, and that team is more championship caliber than what we have right now with Cat at the 5 and Brunson at the 1. And the reason we're talking about this, and the reason I'm talking about this so passionately or so as an advocate, it's the only one that has any real juice to it. It's Mart Stein is reporting this Jrue Holiday, not Clutch Points. So we actually have someone that's giving us a valid tea leaves to read, right? Jrue to Giannis, Giannis to the Knicks, Jrue to the Knicks. Then you have Yahoo reporting that the Blazers like Mikal Bridges. These are verified reporters who have years of experience. That's why I said this is very realistic. I think you can draw some to people in chat like, why can't you do something better? Or what's the better deal? because it's not out there. It's not being reported. We can only work with what we have. And I'm not going to work with clutch points trade rumors or someone's blog. I'm going to do it with the people who have been the top of the echelon of reporting.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm talking about this more seriously too, because Mark Stein reported it. Like if you watch this program, you know we don't do a lot of rumor stuff, and when we do, even when we do, and it's a big rumor, if we feel like this rumor might not have any legs, and we don't really believe it, we'll say it.
Right.
And we'll preference it beforehand before he's like, I don't. This is who it is. I'm not sure, but like this seems more legit. It definitely does for all the reasons that I mapped out. So and I'm gonna be in my Ian Begley right now, because Ian Begley will say all that and be like, anything is possible though. He'll say all that and be like, anything can happen. This is the NBA. Teams change your mind. Things happen, and then you think it's gonna go right, and then it goes left. So there's always a chance that something goes wrong or something doesn't pan out. But it's looking like it's extremely possible. But we'll keep our eye out and see what happens.
Dan Richano, I think all three of us should answer this question. He asked Etley Escobedo, what moves or adjustments would you make this season to absolutely guarantee a championship for the Knicks? I would trade Karl-Anthony Towns. I just don't think you can win a championship with him at the 5. I think he's too compromised defensively. He gets too lost in coverage, and he's also very moody on offense. And when he's getting picked on defensively, it affects him offensively. And when he's not getting picked on defensively, he's inconsistent offensively. So I just don't see any team where Brunson's at the point and Karl-Anthony Towns at the 5 that can win a championship. So to me, you have to move in. There's no peripheral, anecdotal, small move that makes us more of a contender. It doesn't exist.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I still feel like it's too early to say all that, to be honest with you. Like right now, we went 8 deep today. The coach obviously feels like that's the deepest he can go without compromising ourselves. And when I say 8 deep, I don't mean 8 players play. I mean 8 players play real minutes, and everybody else play like little spot things. So I feel like something like Yabu, maybe Clarkson in seconds, or another player to get us like a solid backup wing power forward. Somebody with some size would be nice. I think that's a move that would be beneficial for us, whether it be like Clarkson, maybe Clarkson, Kolek, Yabu, or I don't know, something like that with seconds. Maybe that can get us something playable at the backup.
For me, as much as I do believe that Cat will be gone in the future, I don't see it being this season. I don't see Cat being traded at the trade deadline, so I'm not gonna, put that out there that I would trade Cat, because I see Cat being with the team at least till the end of the season. So for me, the move I would make is I would try to add some size to the roster. More than likely, I'm thinking like a backup wing, for example, a guy that's like 6'7", 6'8", can guard multiple positions and just solidify that part of the team. I would just make small marginal moves to try to improve the bench and to get the team a bit more defensive overall, to where Mike Brown could go 9 guys sometimes and and stretch out the rotation a little bit. So I think that would be the moves I would make. Well, that would be a type of move I would make. Before the trade deadline, because I don't think the Knicks are going to make that big move before the trade deadline.
Coach CR, make sure you subscribe to the Substack, where I wrote 2 weeks ago about the nuclear option, moving Jalen Brunson to the 2 and bringing in a large point guard. I thought about that. It might be the final thing that Mike Brown has to try in order to win with this current group.
All right. I feel like we said everything we need to talk about. Shout out to everybody who's watched with the KOD show. We talked Kings, Knicks. Also, if you haven't watched it already, watch the mid-season review show last night. Pretty good show. When I get a chance, I'm gonna cut up some clips from that to post. We had a really good conversation about Shamet. We had a really good conversation about I feel like Leon Rose. We had a really good conversation about Rich Paul and Giannis. So definitely check out that conversation. It is also it's in chapters too. So it's like if you want to skip around and say, oh, I'm interested in this person's review, that person's review, you just go to the last the mid-season review, click a chapter, boom, you can get right to that subject matter if you want to. All right, yo, that's the show. Do you have any bro picks you want to talk about?
Yeah, I do have a few bro picks. My first bro pick goes to my boy Russell Westbrook in a game against Cleveland. Earlier, I think it was last week. He went up for a dunk against the Cavaliers and airballed the dunk, which was crazy. So he gets a bruh.
Oh, I thought you was going to say when he called timeout and there was none.
Well, that was coming up. He had two bro picks, but that was coming up. That was coming up. And my next bro pick goes to Jarrett Allen because
hold on. Oh, I thought you were gonna say when he threw the ball off the side of the backboard.
Russ had multiple bro picks. Like he definitely had multiple bro picks, but that one from Cleveland I had to say because I was like, you going for a dunk, you airball that? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. So yeah. And Russ is my boy. That's one of my favorite players of all time in the NBA. I love Russell Westbrook, but nah, you got a bro pick for that, my guy. You gotta get that, bro. Okay. And my next bro pick goes to Jarrett Allen because against the Orlando Magic, he was at the free throw line. He shot the free throw. Good form. Airballed it 3 feet short.
Bruh. Damn, lights too bright again, huh? Can't really see the rim. Hard to see the rim when the lights are too bright. I feel you.
and also what JL has said. I'm sorry, Russ, but yes, that pass on the backboard was crazy. It wasn't even for a dunk pass to yourself or for another teammate. It was off the backboard trying to pass the ball, and it was a turnover. So yeah, you got a bro pick for that. Bruh. And the timeout as well. That you got a bro pick for that as well, Russ. I mean, bruh. My dude is a triple-double king, but he got a triple-double in bro picks tonight.
Yo, thank you, Nick Yak. I forgot about that. It's a bonus.
Yes, bonus too. Yeah, the airball free throw. I forgot about that as well. Bro, that too.
Yo, the Kings are.
Shout out Ninja P.
Shout out Ninja.
Gotta give Ninja P time. Gotta give him time.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
That's not his roster. He inherited that mess.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what he does once it's all torn down.
Yeah.
He's a fairly good draft scout.
Yeah. We'll see. Oh man. Any more bro picks? Are you good?
Nah, I'm good. That's all the bro picks.
I got one for LaMelo Ball.
Oh, man.
Oh, damn.
Oh, the edits, man. I guess it's an ooh pit for NBA Twitter. The edits on I don't know if you saw it. I don't know what game it was, but Charlotte's been hot. Actually, shout out. They're a ooh and a bro because Charlotte has been balling. Man, Constantinople, he's the real thing. He's one of the Nets' great American players. He is absolutely incredible. He's not just an incredible shooter. He's an awesome passer too. I've been really impressed with his transition game, everything. They're a fun watch, but they taught Diabasi and LaMelo Ball on the basket. They were just like messing around. I think it was after the game or during a timeout, and everything that could have gone wrong for LaMelo went wrong. The way his hair moved when he was like going, like acting like he was going to score on his teammate and then fell back. The way he laughed, how big his mouth was.
Whoa!
Hey yo!
Wow! The way his jersey was pulled up, looking like a crop top. It's just, listen, man. You know me, Nick Yak. You know, man. I'm the king of zest. My zesty meter was going all the way off. I was like, "Hey, yo, what is happening in this montage right now?" It was too zesty for even me. But man, the TikTok edits, the Instagram edits have been absolutely entertainment. Bots Office. Unbelievably funny. So it's not too hard to find them. If you're on NBA Twitter, you've probably seen it. I just been watching. I just get stoned to watch it and just laugh nonstop for 25, 30 minutes straight. It is so funny.
Oh my God.
Need some hard times, right?
Yeah, for real.
Gotta laugh so you don't cry.
Gotta laugh so you don't cry, man.
Yeah, do that.
LaMelo Ball. I mean, he's kind of a hot mess, but I don't. It's just the way it looked, right? It was like everything to possibly go wrong for him to let that zesty happen, and now he's in meme history forever.
Yeah, for sure. I want to look it up, but I don't want to. But I don't know. I just let it find me. If I see it, I see it. I see it. I see it. All right, I'm not looking for nothing. All right, yo. That's the show, man. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Listen, we're gonna be here tomorrow, so be here. We're gonna be talking about Knicks basketball, and hopefully we're here talking about a Knicks win versus the Raptors, because like
I hope so.
The Raptors are hot. And are we tied? We tied for third right now?
I believe we are.
Yes.
I think we have a slightly higher winning percentage, so they have us in third.
Right. So this is actually a big game tomorrow for us. Big game tomorrow, back to back. Back to back, but against a team who's hot right now. And it's gonna be some nostalgia. It's gonna be Manuel quickly balling, or it's gonna be a game, man. It's gonna be a game. So I can't wait to see you guys here tomorrow night. Talk about the game. All right, yo. Lee, let me know where you can find you, sir.
Bring the smoke on Twitter at _Lee Escobedo, LeeEscobedo. Working on some new heat for both the KOT Substack, as long as Mikey Murphy will be having a piece this week as well. Also need to finish my piece with Ebony to contribute to the Substack. And then I have some essays for The Guardian coming out on hot current events.
All right. Salute. Yeah. So, yeah, if everybody already knows, IQ is my favorite player. He's on the Knicks. Glad to see he's doing well right now, but I don't want you doing well tomorrow. Sorry, we got to whoop that ass.
Belt to ass.
BTA. Ryan G, let them know where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. You can also find me on Instagram at Sir G is Chillin.
Sir G is chillin.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN. And yes, tomorrow, BTA, belt to ass on those Raptors, because the Raptors are right behind us. And for that third spot, we can't let them win that game. They got to be belt to ass.
Right, facts. And it's always bro pick the ice. And also, bro picked those at TikTok for banning Epstein, Trump, and any criticizing of the administration. I was trying to get back on the TikTok, but I don't know about that right now. I'm not gonna hold you. That might be dead. All right, but definitely, bruh. Freedom of speech.
Yep.
Dead.
I was like, wow. It's actually more freedom of speech under China than under a Zionist billionaire. That's crazy. Crazy work.
Yeah, we really have freedom of speech. It's funny, man. All the Republicans just like, free speech. We need free speech. They want free speech to say the N-word, but then
Damn.
Yo, that's a bar.
Don't say Trump's name in vain, though. Like,
yo, that's crazy.
I'm like, hey, man, it's true. Go look on Twitter right now.
I actually think that, conservatives have some principles that I agree with. They seem a little bit more sane at times than the left, but the hypocrisy is you can never get on board with it. We're pro free speech until it's about Israel or Epstein or Trump. We're pro Second Amendment. We're pro guns until the person having a gun is someone that you have a political ideological disagreement with. Then all of a sudden you're anti-gun and the guy deserves to die and be murdered in the street. It's like, bruh, the Republican conservative hypocrisy is unbelievable.
Listen, man, when the Black Panther was walking around and there was an open carry state, right? And then the Black Panthers came with their guns, and all of a sudden the laws changed.
Yep.
And it became illegal to open carry. So the Second Amendment and the NRA didn't stand up for the Black Panthers.
Hell no.
I wonder why that is.
Scam organization.
I'm just saying.
Nasty work.
Rights are only for brown people. All right, let me end the show. Come get in my bag. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, man.
Shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
Damn mess out here in these streets. That's the show. We out of here.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.